I am Professor Fred Ogolla. I'm the president of Linda Jamii. Today we are here in Nakuru County, and we are here to address the Bunge la Wananchi and the Nakuru County as a whole, following a declaration that Linda Jamii made with Bunge la Wananchi, CBD in Nairobi, which is the national convener for all the Bunge la Wananchi throughout the country. Bunge la Wananchi is going to be an affiliate member of Linda Jamii, and our aim is to set up 40 town halls in the major 40 cities in Kenya, where we are going to debate the issue of a failed state. What is a failed state? A failed state is whereby the government is not functioning and opposition is confused, judiciary is shameless, and parliament has lost touch with the Wananchi. How is this happening? The president is running the government as if there is no judiciary, as if there is no parliament, as if there is no any independent institution that can check him. He believes that he is unstoppable. He can do anything. In fact, he threatened us who took him to court about the house levy, saying he will use a sword. But the fact that he's saying he's using a sword simply means that he doesn't know that the sword is also governed by the Constitution. The sword is not superior to the Constitution. In fact, the issuing of the sword to him was governed by the Constitution. And you cannot use the sword the way you want. Use the sword according to the Constitution. And let me tell the president, you are only unstoppable if you are going with the Constitution. If you are going against the Constitution, you are not unstoppable. And we shall stop you with the Constitution and with people's power. Remember, people's power is God's power. And people's voice is God's voice. And the sovereignty of Kenya belongs to the people of Kenya. I went through polling station trying to record an OB statement. All the police stations in Mudangari, Kileleshwa, even the ones in Kilimani refused to record a statement that you cannot be able to record a statement against the president, even if it threatens your life, which I think is incorrect, because everybody has a right to record any statement whenever they feel their life is threatened. So what I'm trying to talk about here is that we have a failed state. We should be having educational policy to run how education system runs. As it is now, we do not know they can change education system to anything they want. Health policy, even NHIF is being changed to reflect the name of the president. If you go to the matters of foreign policy, the president is talking the way he wants. Murkomen talks the way he wants. Somebody talks again DRC the way he wants, and there's a confusion in the foreign policy of Kenya until Kenya becomes unpredictable. The most respected country in Africa is now becoming a joke of the world simply because we have a head of state and people in government who do not see the value of running according to policy. But the unfortunate incident is that opposition has lost focus because opposition is trying either to become a government or they are trying to become, let's say, I don't know what they are trying to become. They are seeking positions which they don't need to seek. They should know that leader of minority, which of Opiawandai is official leader of opposition and should lead. Let them not be looking for another seat called leader of opposition. So if they get that position, what happened to leader of minority? What is their work? And they're being paid by the state funds. So opposition is confused. And then what's happening that all independent institutions like parliament, judiciary, IBC, you can call it ESCC, they are not even able to investigate corruption. People are stealing money at a very high rate and they cannot be able to account. So in this failed state, we are trying to say that we as Linda Jamii, the umbrella body for all civil society, we want to convene all civil society in all the 40 town halls in Kenya to seek for ways on which we can be able to follow and focus on this government constitutionally. Because if we keep quiet, the government wants us to feel helpless. The president wants us to feel helpless and powerless. When he wants to make us feel helpless and powerlessness, that is what is called the making of a dictator. A dictator must make the subject feel helpless and powerless. And let me tell Mr. President, we are ready to die and we only be helpless when we are dead. But when we become dead, our spirit will be more powerful than any spirit that is you are seeing alive. Remember, Osama bin Laden is more powerful dead than alive. So if you want to kill those who want to fight with you in this battle, you will kill very many because very many Kenyans are coming. Prepare so many guns. Prepare very many people to arrest. Prisons will be full. and prepare also money for burial, because bodies will be buried in large amounts. As leader of Linda Jamii, I'm deeply concerned that the person heading the country has no clue in economics. We have assumed for long he knows anything. But after addressing the media on the state of the economy, I have no doubt that he's completely clueless in the economy. Look at what the president said. The president said that he's only receiving 24 million shillings from KICC. First of all, it's a huge lie, because we saw figures in the tune of 1.5 billion shillings from KICC. We have done investigation and we have internal information that KICC makes more than 1.5 billion shillings in terms of revenue. He's trying to say so because he wants to show us that KICC is so useless that it can be sold. So he's the one devaluing KICC. We also insist KICC cannot be valued in Kenya shillings, which has lost value. KICC must be valued in US dollars or in euros. But the most unfortunate bit is when I had the president thinking that KICC only operates as if the money from KICC in terms of profit is what is important. I think that is the biggest joke. He doesn't understand the economics of conferencing. Kenyatta International Convention Center was not set up to give government profit, but was set up to build the business community. Why am I trying to say so? The day we had African Climate Summit, for example, how many people landed at the airport? KQ made money by airplane flights in and outside JKIA. Kenya Airports Authority made money by giving landing rights in Kenya Airports Authority. Another thing, taxis. People made money. The Kenyan drivers who drive taxis made money. The people who sell tomatoes, onions, food, chicken, all those foods were being eaten by the people coming abroad. Yogurt, milk, sugar, tea, water was drunk during the conference. People were able to give services to KICC. Guess who came? That was a lot of money. The hotels were supposed to be fully booked. If you look at it, the hotels around Nairobi were fully booked. So they made money. The farmers who farm produces that were selling to hotels that were making food made money. So an amphitheater like KICC should be able to bring an economic multiplier effect to the people, not using it to calculate the net income from the very facility. And I've done my research. Kigali Convention Center does not make money for the government, but it brings a lot of money to the country. If you go to the one in New York, the same. Go to London, the same. So if the president do not understand how KICC works, can he understand how Kenyan economy works? You know, people cannot run a simple conference place like KICC. Can they run government? And that's why, again, my main point. Because we have people who are clueless, and the president is trying to run the government using bottom-up economic model. And I've said it before. Bottom-up economic model is a scam. Why is it a scam? Every theory in economics must be published by a scholar. Who is the scholar behind bottom-up? And which book has published it? If you show me a book, I'll show you that Pythagoras theorem was done by Pythagoras. Now, this one called bottom-up was done by who? So it's a scam. They used to come to government, let them organize a national confession that they lied to us to get into office, but now we are ready to work with them. Even God says, if you confess your sins, I'll heal your land. God will heal Kenya if we start saying the truth. But we cannot live a lie. A lie is bottom-up economic model. And I want to tell Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, you are an economist. You know bottom-up is not working. That's why Joe Biden has problems in the US. Now Trump is becoming more popular than him because of the nonsense called bottom-up. It has never worked anywhere. Kenya is not a guinea pig. Stop putting us in that economic crisis. And that's why Kenyans will come to all the town halls and ask you to leave that office so that someone who is sound can take over and run that office. Okay, so let me also say this about Linda Jamii. Linda Jamii has discovered that we have used violence for a long time. That's why Linda Jamii has decided to do civic education. We have done a peace run, like on 16th of December. We did a peace run at KICC, and we are planning to do a peace run in Nakuru here on 23rd of March to show people that violence is an Stone Age period. We do not want anybody to throw a stone at the police or at anything else, because Stone Age period is gone. Kenyans are very literate. At independence, we had no internet, we had no technology, we had no media, so we could fight physically. Now we are very educated population. We have internet, we have media. Everybody is free to discuss what they want. Let us use the means that are of this modern age. Let us not use Stone Age period. But the reason why we are still here is that the people in government have stayed for too long. We have people who need to leave this government to allow fresh air to come in. That's why as young people we are trying to say, tunataka hewa mpya. Tunataka hewa gani? Mnataka hewa gani? Tunataka hewa mpya ili tuanze kufanya vitu zetu na teknolojia ya kisasa. Teknolojia ya Stone Age ilipita. Stone was discovered long time ago. Now we have discovered technology. Let's use it. And I want to tell you Kenyans, let us use non-violent means, because non-violent is more powerful. Violence is like rape. You get an instant justice, but it's not lasting. We want to have justice, use dialogue, talking to each other, brother and sister, from the same mother, from the same father. So Linda Jamii Marathon will take place on 23rd of March 2024 here in Nakuru, another the same day in Kisumu, the same day in Mombasa, and the same day in Eldoret, so that you can preach peace. This is going to be something that is so important to Linda Jamii. I think Kenyans have heard that the Kenya government should pay the Eurobond, and the Eurobond is due. And people wonder, what is a Eurobond? Let me first of all tell you, the word Eurobond is very misleading. People might be thinking that Eurobond means that Europeans from Europe borrowed us money and brought to Kenya. That is not the case. Eurobond is not a geographical thing. It is about a currency. Why am I trying to say so? The Eurobond simply means that the Kenyan floated a debt bond based in currency, which is euros. So any investor, when you hear Eurobond investors, anyone could take their own euros, put them in a technology and wire to treasury. So Eurobond does not mean we owe Europeans money, because they are using it to threaten us that if we default, the country will be blacklisted by ourselves, because financial institutions, among other institutions abroad, wired money in euros to Kenya, to treasury, so that it can be used. So by misleading it, thinking that we borrowed money in Europe, we need to pay back to Europeans, no. Anybody can be able to be an investor in Eurobond, and I know banks in this country. In fact, why people are saying the Eurobond should not fail, some of them own those banks that borrowed the Kenyan money in euros, and therefore they need their money back. That's what I'm telling you. If we default, Kenyan economy will not collapse. It is those banks who borrow the Kenyan money that will collapse. So don't be threatened with it, because if this thing collapses, Kenyan economy can collapse, but Kenyans cannot collapse, because this government does not feed you, it does not pay for you school fees, it does not pay for you healthcare, and Eurobond should not threaten you that Americans or Europeans will come and take over the country. No. The truth of the matter is that money was borrowed to Kenya in the currency called euros. You can also have euro dollar, meaning that the money was borrowed to you in dollars and euros. So it has nothing to do with Europe. And let us get this very clearly. And let us not be threatened or misled that this money is being paid to foreigners abroad. There are people who stole money in Kenya, put them in the banks here in the country, and borrowed it to us in euros. You understand me? And in fact, some people stole that money from somewhere else. They took Kenyan money somewhere else. They put them in financial institution here in euros and borrowed to us. It is a way for them to enrich themselves. So as I can tell you, Eurobond is something that should not threaten you just with the word euro. The issue is that it's just a debt like any other debt, but was in a currency called euros. It has nothing to do with Europe. It only has something to do with the currency.